10th of February 2024 at 3:46 p.m. in Berlin, Germany. Welcome once again to our cosmic journey, casting our chart in this, the startup universe. Designer Jake here with engineer Trey as always. Hello, Trey.
Hello, Jake.
This is a bit of a special episode for us because I think that you and I were under the impression that nothing that we were going to show for 2 weeks in a row, no demos. Is that your take on this as well?
Yeah, exactly. Like it was really a last minute sort of wait, we are actually going to have something to show.
I know. It was literally at the last possible moment, which is why we're calling this Event-ually made it, as in we made it to the idea of having a demo today, of which, you can see in the schedule here. After my check-in question, we'll do a demo. Actually, there's going to be 2 demos. I do not know what these demos are. They are what I can only call surprise demos right now. So I'm very excited about all of this. I hope that you're just as excited and enthusiastic about my check-in question. So good on you, by the way, for
Wait, was that to the viewer or was that to me?
that's to you. That's not even to
Oh,
the viewer.
okay.
That's to you. I'm talking to
I
you.
thought you were addressing the viewer.
No, 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 no. The
And I mean
viewer
that in the
doesn't.
singular.
The viewer at this point is doing laundry. They're literally doing anything else. I do not know why they're even watching us. The most excitement is right here in front of me. I'm very excited, by the way, because I'm coordinating my hat and my shirt. This is a new thing that I'm trying to do here. So, that's where my excitement comes from. You, of course, have your beautiful hat as always. So good on you. So, Mr. Henry, I then give you your check-in question. If you could travel back in time to attend any historical event, which one would it be and why? And I have for you a bonus question if you are so inclined for this. So you could travel back in time to attend any historical event. Which one would it be and why?
Hmm. An historical event.
We do say the proper American English, an historical event. I did say any historical event to avoid the a versus an. Yes.
Let's see. What would be really um Oh, actually, when just thought about I think we might have done this as like a morning stand-up question at one point or something
Yeah,
kind of similar to this.
probably.
Um,
We do morning stand up as well. This is something that to know about us for sure. So yes, this may have been a morning stand up question. I think it was a long time ago, so I don't really remember what your answer
yeah.
was.
I don't remember what my answer was exactly, but I remember it might have been sort of related. So, um, I think I would say, at least right off the top of my head, um, some period of time during sort of the heyday of Alexandria, when you had this kind of melting pot of um, uh, like Egyptian, Greek, and um, earlier sort of pagan stuff and Hellenistic stuff just emerging like all at the same time, and there was just a ton of interesting thought happening around, yeah, like the foundations of astrology sit there for sure,
Yeah.
or at least astrology as like Western quote unquote astrology. It certainly existed before that, but that was really like a very formative moment when a lot of this stuff gets kind of like put into place, even as we kind of understand and use it today. But even beyond that, just like so many other things sort of like all happening at the same time, and so much um, rich intermingling of different cultures and different practices.
Nice.
It just sounds like it was a really kind of interesting time. So yeah.
Are you
Fair.
ready then for your bonus question?
Oh
Because
yeah,
you've not
what's my
gotten your
bonus?
bonus question yet. Imagine then you take yourself back to that time. What outfit are you wearing?
um, God, I'm so bad at fashion. I would say,
What? That hat that beguiles the idea that you are bad at fashion. That hat is incredibly fashionable.
is this fashion? Is this fashion?
That is fashion.
Um, I don't know. If it was actually historical, then it would be, I don't know what people wore then, like, but I think in the like Hollywood reenactment, I would want to look like um Trey Henry steampunk vampire hunter. Like lots of leather straps,
So
like
okay, wait. And this has to do with
weird clocks and
Alexandria and
mechanical
why?
things all over for some reason.
This has to do with Alexandria for some
Yeah, I don't
reason.
know. It's just it fits that theme in my mind.
Okay, so you're saying that you want to do. Okay, you're going to be in Alexandria, but you are going to kind of talking about your fashion issues already. That you are going to be steampunk and completely out of sorts for your the fashion doesn't match the time. That's kind of the deal.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I said like in the dramatic reenactments from Hollywood.
I understand. Okay, this is. I mean, that was not the question, but that's fine. You can take the question wherever you want to go. I wanted to
Exactly.
show. I wanted to show the viewer something. I'm seeing if I can find it really quickly. Oh yeah, I can. Yes. This is the viewer's favorite part, by the way, when I'm looking for a picture. So the viewer might know. It might be evident to the viewer that I am very two things. I really like AI and image generation through AI, and I really enjoy loving myself. And so here, this is the steampunk kind of version of this is the time clock steampunk Jake that we've got going on here. Um, this is the outfit that I saw. There's probably even a better outfit if I look a little bit further in my pictures. But yeah, were you thinking
Yeah, and
this?
I was thinking even like more ornate with just like more because this is actually um fairly minimal from a like
From a
steampunky kind of
I see.
perspective. Like I'm just like buckles and like flasks, like hanging off of the belt and like I don't know, like an astrolabe like just hanging around my neck.
I'd prefer you like this, Time Lord,
Yeah,
Time
that's
Lord
that's
Trey. There,
that's
move.
not Alexandria though. That's
No,
like
this is
some
no.
picture
Oh
version.
yeah, I'm sorry. That's not. Now we're moving through pictures. Let's stop doing that before we get to something that we would regret putting on film. There we go. Nice. Love that. Love that for you. Love that for me
And
as
then
well.
for you,
Yeah, for me, I would say that this is. I don't have a very specific. Well, I guess I did say a historical event. The first thing that came to my mind, by the way, was me sitting with one of those priests in a temple, chapel, or whatever, with a water clock, and having them read the stars through the night. And all I want to do actually is design research with them to figure out what they're doing, why they're doing it, and just help them do it a little bit better. I think it would just be fascinating. And there's nothing stopping me from going to some kind of monastery on a hill and sitting up and watching the stars with a water clock. So I guess, nothing's stopping me. I
yeah, I think the water clock part of that is going to be a little bit tricky because I don't know if those still exist. You might have to use like a modern
we
clock.
have to make a water clock. We can do that. We can 3D print a water clock for me. I think that'd be lovely.
And also you need the stick that you
Yeah,
measure the
yeah.
heavens. Yeah.
We have to 3D print that as well. There's nothing that actually delights me more than using modern technology to make ancient things. Let's 3D
Especially when that
print
ancient thing is literally a stick.
a stick. Yeah.
We have to get a 3D print this stick.
I mean, I'm sorry, Jake. Do you want to go outside and find a stick? No, no, no. I need to
No,
3D print a stick, please.
I want to punch a hole in the ozone to 3D print a stick.
Yeah. I mean, I punch enough holes in the ozone for these shows of vanity. Why not a 3D printed stick as well? You know. Good check-in, everyone. Good check-in.
Yeah.
Hold for applause. Okay, it's not there. Let's go to demos then. Mr. Henry, do you want to take us away into kind of what you would like to demo today?
Yeah, sure. Can you see my screen?
We can now.
Hooray! So anyway, this is not anything new. You're just looking at the chart. Part of the reason why we were saying event-ually in the title of the cycle in the episode is because a lot of the rabbit hole that we ended up going down, which is why we thought we weren't going to have something to demo, is around the complicated nature of, and we've talked about this plenty, but event and native and chart data and charts, and all of these things are kind of separate things, and they all relate to each other in very sometimes strange and complicated ways. And there was a lot of work that needed to be done to sort of think through those things and then try some things out and then tweak some things. And there was a lot of conversations going back and forth with me and Jake, and just, Jake designing and me coding, and then like, okay, well, what about this? What about this? And it was good. And there was a lot of back and forth, but yeah, as Jake said, it looked like we weren't going to actually be able to show anything, even though a lot of the guts of the product had changed or had been,
Yeah.
like new things had been added or fleshed out.
The metaphor that you were using today was that we have a framework of a house with scaffolding, and there's pipes in there and there's wires in there, and to show off a house of wires and pipes and being like, we're going to do a house tour, really is unappealing.
Yeah. It's a really strange thing to do. And so, yeah, we're kind of showing like, we've got a couple of like rooms that are sort of like half finished and you can kind of like get a general sense, but then we're like, and check out this kitchen. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be an island here and there's going to be all these things. And all you're actually seeing is like some framed out 2x4s and like, yeah, pipes and wires everywhere. And you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this?
And you're like,
But
just visualize it. Just visualize. I can't visualize it.
But the flip side is that, this, the idea of an MVP or MVP culture in startups, in the startup world, is very much akin to slapping a bunch of boards together and calling it a house, and then having somebody come in and live there before you have thought about the plumbing and the electricity and where all of that stuff is going to go and how it's going to work.
I have to go
And
to
then
the 2-up
later
view
on,
this
and
one.
with the idea, sorry,
By
go
the
ahead.
way, I had to go to the 2-up view on this one because we're talking philosophy. We're not even talking about the screen. We're talking philosophy. And this, by the way, Mr. Henry, is we've talked about this before. And you know what happens when we talk about something, again, that we've talked about before.
We have to
Check out the episode, and you have to point up there. Right.
Oh, I'm not looking at the thing. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
On.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aha.
Come back to me. All right.
Oh, wait. Okay. So I'm staying on you.
No. Sorry. Go back to your screen.
Okay. So, So anyway, all that to say, like, that's not what we want to do. And why do I have this weird little, that was funny. That's not what we want to do. We want to plan out the plumbing, plan out the electricity. And it just so happens that we're in this awkward phase of having a lot of stuff in play, but where we can't really show a lot. But
right.
I can now show some things, and I'm very excited about this, especially because we didn't think we were going to.
And I don't know what even we're going to see right now. So
yeah,
seeing it
so I'm gonna show two things, and they're both very much related to this underlying model of event chart data, etc. Okay. So we're gonna go back to I think it's been a couple episodes since we showed that's celebs. Something like this. Okay.
I was going to say, what are we looking at here? Okay, now we're here.
Yeah, that was just me typing badly. So we have this idea of showing like celebrity charts or showing like prominent figure charts. Right now, this is the URL. Don't worry about URLs. And in fact, don't even worry really about how any of this looks, because much of that is going to change. But I'm now showing again that we have two entries in here. So we're putting Jake and I in here. And there's a couple of things that are different from the last time that we showed this. First of all, we're showing that, Jake's name is Jake Zukowski, but it's also showing Joseph Jacob Zachariah Zukowski. We showed this in the model a while ago, but this was one of the things that we ended up having to talk quite a bit through. It's just every little piece of this is more complicated than it sems. And
just trust us. We don't need to keep saying that. Just trust us. It's all very complicated.
Yeah, just trust us. How do you represent Robert Downey Jr.? This is just
a
general question.
This is good. We should talk about this for a second. Here's something that we've learned, which is going to go under big questions. So there's Robert Downey Jr., whose name is Robert something Downey Jr., right? And then there's Robert Downey Sr., whose name is Robert something Elias. And Robert Downey Sr. renamed, I guess, himself from Elias to Downey, and then named his son after what he changed his name to. So his birth name is not his alias or his given name. And then he passed down this alias name as a birth name to his child. I keep hitting my mic, sorry. His alias name to a birth name to a child, and it is messy. It is a mess.
Yeah. Yeah, the real stickler with this was we had this idea of like alias, and then we would compose a name based on alias if they're known by the alias, and then other parts of their sort
Yeah,
of like the collection of things that we generate their name out of.
exactly.
And then we realized that, well, in many cases you can't, there's too many corner cases where you can't actually do that.
Yeah.
For example, I'm not known as just Trey, like I'm not Beyonce. I'm Trey Henry, generally speaking. Uh, but I'm not Trey Henry the third, and I'm not Trey Lloyd Henry. But like Robert Downey Jr. is
That's his name.
like has,
That's how
yeah,
we
has a
know him.
middle name and then also has a suffix. But that's actually, that full thing is really an alias.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Now
it's
that
just
we're talking about
it's
it,
very, what's
now
that?
that we're talking about it in the model, I think we just need to talk. We need to use known by name, but that's fine. We can talk about that later. Now that we're talking through it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
And
we have
I
this
mean,
idea of
things are
alias
social.
and we had nickname, and we're like, it's not an alias because it sounds like you're talking about John Dillinger. It's like that's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
right
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we should probably change the name now
Yeah,
that the kind of, yeah, clubhouse.
known by
It's
name.
like you're giving the tour of the house, and then you're like, somebody's like, "What is this pipe here doing?" You're like, "That's a
Don't
really
touch that.
good point.
Oh,
Now that we changed that pipe, we should probably like change this pipe too." So
yeah,
you're seeing the house being modeled in real time.
exactly. And that's the benefit,
Okay,
and
so we
that's the
also have,
good content that you come here every week to watch. I appreciate you, all 20 views. All right.
yeah, the slop fest that is the real time making of software. So we also have the date, time, and the time, the zone abbreviation, and then we have the Rodden rating, of course, and then we have the top three. So we have Sun, Moon, and Ascendant being
You
shown here.
changed my
That's
rotted rating to AA. I appreciate that because last time we talked about this, I just got an A.
that's right. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
very
No,
nice of you.
I changed the seed data to give you the correct.
Thank you.
But also, when I showed it last time, we were showing like the full name, and now we're just showing
Yeah.
the abbreviation, and then we'll have the way to get to more details about the Rodden
Check
rating.
it out in that episode up there. Very good.
Yeah. So, but you'll notice also that there's a little like hover state here, and then now we have a little pointer hand, and if I click, then
Whoa.
you will now see that we are actually looking at Jake's chart. So you'll see that the time is correct. You'll see that the time zone is correct. The Latin long are correct. I'm not displaying those yet in the chart details here. And you can see, so we're showing Placidus houses by default here, and you can see that Jake's ascendant is here in Virgo. And if I, yeah, so if I switched over to whole sign, you would see that the, I'll just do that really quick. So you can see the Virgo is his first house in whole sign houses, and everything else just works as you know you would expect. I'm changing it here. Let me go back to Placidus, and then I can change time, do all the normal stuffs.
Now, did you just actually change my birth date, Mr. Henry?
Yeah, well, so we're not yet ready to talk about what it means to actually change time when you're looking at somebody's birth, which is actually what you want to do is either a progression, probably, or possibly wanting to look at transits.
Yeah.
So this is a whole separate topic. So right now, all I'm demonstrating is that I can click on your chart, and I can see your chart, and I can interact with your chart.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to go contact Lake County, Illinois to change my birth date. That's all I was asking.
Yeah, not yet. So here's, and then of course I can do the same thing with mine. And here's my ascendant Cancer.
It's in Cancer.
And so this is the amount of stuff under the scenes making this happen is a lot. And it's really showing kind of where we're going with this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is really cool, and I love it. But let's do this sort of second part of the demo here, which I'm showing my full screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So let's go.
Can you make your font a little bit bigger, by the way? Or is that going to be a problem?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, we're in Interactive Elixir. This is just kind of querying the application. We've talked about this before. We don't need to talk about it again. Querying the application to look at how these things, from the plumbing perspective, all work.
Yeah. So now we're like really, we're talking about like we're tracing out electrical wires and pipes, and but it'll I'll try to do this in a way that hopefully it will be illustrative of sort of some of the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. So we will go to, I forget what this thing is called. Natives that get a live demo, everybody.
Yeah,
so we're going to say get by position in sign. And I'm going to say sun in Pisces. And now this is going to return just like a whole bunch of data, hopefully, which it did.
Yes, it did.
But just to make it a little bit easier to see, let's grab the first item, and then we'll also grab the event off of this. So what we did was we found all chart data where the sun is in Pisces. And then from that chart data, we backed up to the event. So this is the event of Trey Henry's birth, of which the chart data is related to that. And then we go up again to the native, which is me, which has all of the native details.
So you basically queried our database and said, show me everyone in our system that has their sun in Pisces.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Love it.
And so let's do another quick little one here. So we'll say the ascendant is in Virgo.
Not Virdo. That's Birdo's cousin. You wrote Virdo.
Virdo sounds like Virdo is like some weird Nintendo.
Yeah, it's definitely the Chinese knockoff of a Nintendo game. Virdo. And Virdo shoots eggs out of its
let's not
other orifice. Let's just say that.
Some other orifice.
But definitely not its weird snout nose. Fun fact about Birdo, by the way. Birdo was not gendered. It was a agendered being from the start. So good on Birdo. Virdo, by the way, is definitely got a gender, and it is horrible. Whatever it is.
It's it's unpronounceable, the name of the gender.
We'll go back to your screen. Okay, we're watching your screen again.
Okay. So we just looked up the ascendant in Virgo, and we are now returning all of those, and you can see that the first one that's there is you, because we only have the two of us in there. But just to also demonstrate that this is working as intended, I'm going to look for Pluto in Libra.
Yeah.
And because, again, this is going to be a bunch of data, because there's only the two of us in the database, and because we were born within 5 years of each other, we both have our Pluto in the same sign.
Exactly.
And in different degrees of that sign, but in the same sign. And so what we would be looking for here is for the returned data to be 2.
And it is.
And it is.
Ta-da!
Yes. So we now have part of the reason why we needed to do all of this, and I'm going to come out of demo mode here. Part of the reason that we needed to do all of this work around chart data and chart and event and native and all of these things is because they are conceptually separate things that are used in different ways, but they're all related. And so when we talk about the complicated nature of the relationship between all of these things, when we say, give us let's say that we do just a very generic query for like sun in some sign. The data that might come back for that, some of that data might be birth events, some of it might be marriage events, some of it might be mundane events, some of it might be publicly posted elections.
A movie that Quentin Tarantino made on, that meets that type of, there's a ton of events out there, right, that we could possibly pull from.
Yeah. In fact, anything that has a date and a location, actually anything that has a date, really,
right?
Because location is
location always helps with the angles, but you don't need the chart angles necessarily.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need it. So, but anything that has a date, or anything ideally that has a date and a location, could be represented in some way. And so, so this very complicated model that we've created, that Jake has designed, and I now have implemented some portions of, not all of, but some portions of, we can now use to do these things. So like when I was showing the list of, sort of prominent charts, and then that was like, let's look up all of the charts and then get the highest Rodden rating of birth event for those natives. That's basically what's happening behind the scene there, because you might have, as we've talked about in the past, multiple birth events for an individual because there might be contested birth events or whatever. And on and on. And so we show those things, and then you can click on that, and then it takes you to a chart, which is actually utilizing the chart data in order to render a chart. And actually, it's even more complicated than that, because astute viewers will know, astute viewer will know that we render charts on the client utilizing technology on the client. So actually, the only thing that we pass up to the client is dang, I got it the wrong way. The only thing we're going to pass up to the client is what we call the sort of core data, which is, or the input data, which is the date, time, the location, etc. Just the stuff that's needed to calculate the chart. But once we start getting into charts with multiple things being shown, so like combined charts and combined charts with transits and all of these things, we now have the interior guts in the application to make that actually work.
So we got some part of the design done. We only have this much of the design to go. And once we get all this done, then we'll have something to really show you.
Yeah, this is a lot of future stuff.
No, there's a bunch of stuff on here that says later. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Calm down, Trey. You don't have to do all of it. That's great. Thank you for the 2 demos. I love it. And like we said, we went from 0 demos to 2 demos with, I think, only 2 hours ago. We were saying to ourselves, well, it's 0 demos. Again.
Yeah. And I realized afterwards that we were always going to be able to do the query demo because that was a couple of days ago that, sort of the key pieces of that were there, and it could have been demoed in a terminal. But I really didn't want to, because the other thing I didn't show, although it will be in the video, is the URL. So when you click on, you click on that tile that says like Jake or Trey, and then it loads that chart. Then the URL is /astrology/ and then a slug.
Oh, the slug. Yes.
Yeah, which is and that's the same slug that you would see in the event when I was doing it inside the terminal. And the cool thing about that is that this gives us nice what's called search engine optimization, or it's really nice when it's like cosmic.plumbing /astrology/ Jake Zukowski birth, and that actually like loads up what you would expect.
Yeah. I don't know if you are as thankful as I am for this, but we had lunch with my old CTO. We don't give names out here, but one of my more favorite bosses, if not my favorite boss that I've ever had,
and also a close friend,
and lives in Berlin. We love him. We love his wife. They're lovely people. Had lovely Asian food. And in this discussion, we were talking about what we were doing, and Trey's talking about the scaffolding, and he's like, well, be careful. You got a lot of scaffolding there. Okay. Point taken. Number 1. Number 2, he did say, we said, we do a video every week. He's like, yeah, but do you have anything to show? And I'm like, well, sometimes. And I don't remember how he said it. He's like, the way he said it was just like less parades, more doing. Like, why don't you cut out the parades so much?
Yeah, less parades, like more stuff for customers.
Yeah. More floats, less parades, right? So like, what are we trotting out in front of people? So it was a joke, but I think with every good joke, it cuts a little deep. And I think Trey and I were like, yeah, we do have to work a little harder. So I was working much harder after that. I know Trey was working his butt off as well. So thank you. Lovely that you were doing that. And it's such a great partner to do it with. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you'd like to say today?
That it's really nice to follow on to the topic of having this conversation with our friend who's a CTO, former CTO.
He is a CTO. Yeah,
he's a CTO. So deeply involved in technology, and having had various experiences at various different companies. And when you work on something yourself, so you're building the house, and you're doing plumbing and you're doing electrical wiring, and it's just you alone in this house. And then every now and then, the designer comes in and is like, trying out some wallpaper here or some like, new flooring
You're like,
here or
I
whatever.
don't need wallpaper right now. I need you to go away.
It's sometimes really nice to have another technology person to say those sorts of things, like your technology stack sounds cool, but also maybe getting to the point that it's you know like, are you worried about it becoming unwieldy?
Right.
So it's just really nice to be able to talk to
Here's where
folks
I
like that.
gently. Oh wait, sorry, I put the wrong thing in. Here,
Whoa, we had a like
I'll do the
recorded
joke. I'll do the joke here. So sorry. Let me. So you're talking about like making sure that like things are okay, and then I'm just kind of gently transitioning into the Tower of Babel. That's the joke for next time. I'm going to work on my joke skills as part of our cosmic presentation. It's part of our parades. We love doing these parades for you every week. Be well, wash your hands, hug your friends, find your favorite CTO, and give them a kiss on the cheek because they deserve it. We love you very much. Have yourself a lovely Saturday or whatever day you see this, and we will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.